and welcome to my little bookish corner of the internet. My name's Harriet. Today I'm going to be talking through the books that I'd like to read in the month of November. Apologies in advance if I look a bit crap. I have literally just come back from work. But you know what? I had the most amazing shift and I just feel really happy and excited, and I thought it'd just be the perfect mood to film in. But yeah, I'm sorry if I look a bit run down. It was a long day. Okay, so let's start with the book I've actually already started but I just haven't finished. And I am currently really enjoying it. So it is Magician by Raymond E. Feist. This is a humongous book, like almost 1,000 pages long, and the writing's really tiny. But do you know what? This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted for autumn time. I'm just adoring it so much. So if you didn't know the storyline, we are following a young orphan boy named Pug, and he basically gets taken in as a magician's apprentice, and it's following him and his relationship with the Duke's daughter and how he fits into society. And I think there's going to be maybe some background with a possible war and tension between factions and things like that. So I'm not very far through it yet, but oh my goodness, I think it's written amazingly. I think for some people the prose might be a bit heavy. It is like a little bit fluffy, but it's exactly what I wanted for this time of year. And then we have a book that I've spoken about in my previous video because I'm going to be doing a buddy read with Rachel from Rachel's Reading Nook, and that is Cersei by Madeline Miller. I have read out the synopsis before, but it's basically a historical fiction, and I believe it's going to have lots of conversations about feminism and feminist power. I don't know too much about Greek mythology, so I don't know if I'm going to recognise the original story or not, but the cover looks beautiful. I've heard really good things, and I think that this will be perfect to read in autumn as well. And it's a buddy read. I love doing buddy reads. If you follow me on Instagram and you see that I have an anticipated read on one of my posts that I haven't read yet and you want to read it as well, please message me and we can figure out buddy read, because I think it is the best way to read a book. And then we move on to something more magical that I've been saying I would read for absolutely ages, and that is the first book in the A Pinch of Magic series by Michelle Harrison, and this book is called A Pinch of Magic. This is a children's young adult series, and I am craving Harry Potter at the moment, but I've read it so many times, so I figure I'll give something else a go. And this focuses in on three sisters instead, and a magical object, a family curse, and their adventure with each other. And the front cover is just beautiful. I believe there's 3 books in this series, and I have got them all, so I definitely need to start them before the end of the year so that I can finish them, and I'm really looking forward to it. And then this one is pretty obvious actually, considering the time of year. So I would like to start Autumn by Ali Smith. I picked up the whole seasonal quartet, and I know this is the first one, so I figured I can read one every 3 months and it will be very appropriate for the seasons. So I get to start with Autumn. This front cover is beautiful. I think this focuses in on fictional stories in a world that's familiar to us. I think, I'm not totally sure. As I say, I picked up the whole quartet and I did just pick them up because they looked pretty. So I don't know too much, apart from that this has been doing its rounds on the internet lately and people have been adoring it. So I'm excited to start it and see if I actually like this author's writing or not. I hope I do, because I spent like £38 on all 4 books. So fingers crossed. And then 2 books which are a lot less light-hearted, but are really short. So I'm hoping I can get through them pretty quickly. But we have, oddly enough, got a science fiction book, which is Solaris by Stanislaw Lem. And we are following Kelvin, who is a psychologist, and he is sent out to a space station that is orbiting the mysterious planet of Solaris. But strange things start happening, and he starts seeing visions of his dead wife and things like that. So I thought for the spooky season, considering I'm not very good with spooky things, this would be a good read and perfect for autumn time. And I've said this before, I think I've seen this film, but I literally don't remember anything. There was a period of time where I'd watch loads of films with my partner and I'd just fall asleep and he wouldn't even realise. So maybe I need to rewatch it after I've read this book. I'm hoping it's not too heavy science fiction though, because I don't think I'm quite ready for that yet. But you know what, it's so short that if it is, I think hopefully I'll be okay. Another book I'd really like to get to is the second in a series by Tom Dumbrell, and that is No Place for Peace. Now I read the first book, The Look of a King, which I have got a review for, so I'll leave that link down below, and this is the second instalment in the series. I am so excited to revisit the characters that I love from the first book, We are following Cyrus and his journey after the events in the first book. I cannot say anything because I feel like I'm going to spoil the first one. So watch my review for that first one. And I definitely recommend picking it up. It is on Kindle Unlimited if you are interested in this author's works. He is an amazing writer and just generally a really nice person. This book wasn't sent to me or anything like that. I just genuinely am completely in love with his writing and think that anyone who's interested in very mild fantasy, political intrigue and historical fiction would really enjoy this series. And then the last book that I'm adamant I want to get to is Lord of the Flies by William Golding. I haven't seen the movie of this, but I saw that Simpsons episode. I think it's called The Bus. I don't really remember. But I used to love that episode as a kid, so I figured I'd read the original works. I think this is going to be a lot darker than The Simpsons though. We are following survivors of a plane crash that ends up on a desert island, and it ends up being a group of young boys. And it's about how they communicate with each other and how they survive in this really horrible situation. And they almost create kind of a hierarchy within themselves, a leader, and the people that follow. So I'm really excited to get to this. And again, I think it's going to be a little bit violent and a little bit hard to read, but I think that will be good for autumn time and those kind of spookier vibes. Also, it's a classic and I never got to read it in school and everyone else seems to have read it. So yeah, I'm really excited to get to this one. So yeah, that is my very short but sweet TBR for November. I'm super excited to get to all of these books, and thankfully the only one that's super long is Magician, and I've already got through that a little bit. So I'm hoping I can have a good variation of different genres to try out this month and get through that physical TBR, because I have so many books and I just can't seem to get through them. But definitely let me know if you've read any of these, or again, if any of these are sitting on your shelves, you haven't read them yet and you want someone to read them with, please let me know on Instagram and we can sort something out. But yeah, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye!